If you've ever carried a wound so deep that even time refused to heal it, this story is your reflection. Because sometimes the pain you curse today becomes the strength you'll thank tomorrow. In a forgotten desert village, where endless dunes kissed the horizon and the wind whispered ancient prayers, lived a young man named Raheem. His life had once been filled with laughter, a loving wife, a wise father, and a humble home that echoed with peace. But fate, as it often does, struck without warning. One night, a furious sandstorm roared through the desert, devouring homes, camels, and crops in its wrath. And when the storm finally passed, Raheem's world lay buried beneath the sand. His wife was gone. His father's well, the heart of their home, had dried to dust. For weeks, Raheem wandered through the ruins, hollow and silent. He stopped eating, stopped speaking, and each morning he sat beside the cracked mouth of the old well, staring into its emptiness. "Why me?" he would whisper into the wind, his voice trembling with disbelief. At first, the villagers pitied him. Then, they began to avoid him. "He's cursed," some said. "He's lost his mind," said others. But Raheem wasn't mad. He was broken. Then one dawn, a traveler appeared, an old man wrapped in a faded cloak, his eyes calm with the wisdom of many journeys. He watched Raheem for a while and finally said, "The desert burns those who resist it, but it shapes those who walk with it. The same sun that blinds you can also make you shine." Those words struck something deep within Raheem. That night he packed what little he had, a flask of water, a piece of bread, and his father's prayer beads, and walked into the desert. He didn't know where he was going. All he knew was that staying still would destroy him, and moving forward might save him. The desert was merciless. Days baked him alive. Nights froze him to the bone. Hunger clawed at his stomach. Thirst burned his throat. Many times he fell to his knees, ready to give up, but each time he remembered the traveler's words, "Walk with it." On the seventh day, Raheem stumbled upon a wrecked caravan, silent, looted, lifeless, except for a faint cry. A young boy, no older than 10, sat beside his wounded father, covered in sand and fear. Without hesitation, Raheem gave them his last drops of water. The man's pulse was weak, his lips dry and cracked. Raheem lifted him onto his back and began walking again. Mile after mile, his legs trembled under the weight, the boy following behind in tears and prayer. By dusk, they reached a distant oasis, where a small tribe took them in. Raheem collapsed the moment they arrived. When he awoke, the man he had carried was alive, breathing, grateful. The boy hugged Raheem and whispered, "You saved my father." For the first time in years, Raheem felt something stir inside him. Purpose. Before leaving, the father said to him, "You carried me through the desert when you could barely stand yourself. Never think you are weak, Raheem. Pain is only life preparing you for greatness." That night, Raheem wept silently. The burden he once thought was punishment was now shaping him into something unbreakable. Still, the journey tested him. He wandered for weeks through shifting dunes, haunted by mirages and loneliness. Then, one moonless night, another storm rose from the horizon, fiercer than before. Winds howled like demons, sand tore at his skin, and the world disappeared into darkness. Raheem fell to his knees, clutching his prayer beads, shouting into the storm, "Why, O Lord? Have I not suffered enough? What more do you want from me?" But amid the chaos there came a silence, not outside but within. His heartbeat slowed, his breath calmed, and in that stillness, he heard something. "Not everything is gone, Raheem. You still have me." It wasn't a voice of thunder, but of mercy, soft, eternal. When the storm passed, Raheem lay upon the sand, exhausted, but at peace. Then he saw it. Where the storm had struck hardest, the ground had cracked open, and there, glimmering under the moonlight, was water. A hidden spring, life born from ruin. Raheem fell to his knees, tears mixing with the water. For the first time in years, he laughed, not just from joy, but from awe. He understood now. The storm hadn't come to destroy him. It had come to reveal what was buried beneath. He built a small hut near the spring. Travelers began to stop for water, and over time, a small community grew around the oasis. They called it Ain as-Sabur, the spring of patience. When people asked him how he discovered it, Raheem would smile and say, "I didn't find it. The storm did." Because sometimes, the very thing that breaks you is what sets you free. Raheem lived the rest of his life in gratitude, not because his pain vanished, but because it transformed him. The lesson is simple. The pain you carry is not your enemy. It is your teacher. Every scar hides a strength waiting to rise. If this story touched your heart, subscribe for more soul-awakening tales. Because sometimes the story you hear today becomes the strength you live by tomorrow.